Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome to the another interesting video of Advent of Cyber 2025. We are going to talking about obfuscation, the actual file today. So yeah, MC Skiddy keeps a focus on a particular alert that caught a hindrance an email posing as not Pol HR. So let's do something in this room. Like you have to start your virtual machine today, and you do have a split screen available, and you don't need to start your attack box for today's purpose. So that's pretty cool. So let me expand my virtual machine, the split screen, to a full screen. So let it load in the meantime. As always, we have to read the story. Werville has not felt right since the wormhole appeared. Everyone in TBFC is on high alert. Systems are going haywire. Dashboards are spiking, and SOC alerts have been firing non-stop. Amid the chaos, MC Skiddy keeps her focus on a particular alert that caught her interest. An email posing as Nordpol HR. It's littered with carrot emojis, but the weird thing is this: there is no North Pole Human Resources Department. TBFC's HR is at the South Pole. Digging further, she found a tiny PowerShell file. So from that, email was downloaded. Among the code are random strings of characters, all gibberish, nothing readable at a glance. MCSKD knows a malicious actors often hide code and data using a technique called obfuscation. So that's the main heading of the room that we are going to do today. Yes, obfuscation, hiding malicious activities in the code, right? Malicious actors often hide code and data using this technique. But what is it really and how we can decipher it? We have some learning objectives where we are going to learn about obfuscation and why and where it is used. And we are going to learn the differences between encoding, encryption, and obfuscation. We were able to learn encoding yesterday in the basic C4 is somewhat an encoding format, right? It can easily be decoded, right? We learned in the yesterday's AOC 2025. So yeah, encryption is something that is safer than encoding, right? So we are going to learn about obfuscation today, right? So learn about obfuscation and the common techniques using cyberchef to recover the plain text safely. Yeah, let's move on. We can see we start the mission and continue with the next task. You can also connect to using these credentials to this particular room using RDP, remote desktop protocol. So yeah, so this is like usual. We only have task 2. Let's read this. Like understanding the gibberish, like obfuscation is the basically the practice of making data hard to read and analyze. That's obfuscation means, making it hard to read and analyze. Attackers use this to evade basic detection and delay investigations. So that's the basic purpose of obfuscation, to hide the content and it can't be detected so easily. So let us say a security tool will automatically block any file that contain the word the bandit 80. To evade this, attackers use a simple cipher technique called ROT1 to hide the string. ROT1 is a cipher that shifts each letter forward by 1 in the alphabet. The letter A becomes B, B becomes C, and so on. Using the cipher, caret coins gobber becomes D, B, like this. Okay, so this can be further complicated by using row 13, which moves the characters forward by 13 spaces. Obfuscation in real world, so far we have kept it simple. In the real world, you will encounter a wider range of techniques. So one slightly more complicated technique would be utilizing XOR. Each character is represented as byte, and each byte is combined with a key using the XOR mathematical operation. No need to go into the details as to how it works. The only thing you need to know is that this operation changes the bytes into different bytes, which may sometimes makes the resulting text and end up with uncommon symbols or non-readable characters. Obfuscating with XOR is not something that you can be easily done manually, but thankfully there are tools available that can help us with this. One such widely used tool is called CyberChef, which we used yesterday also, right? So if you're following me, then you will be able to use and understand those kinds of things. Yeah, let's do this. Like let's try to obfuscate string using XOR by following the steps using the CyberChef. Let me open the CyberChef, and at the top right you will receive an input box. This is where you paste the text you want to change or obfuscate. In our case, we are using caret supremacy. So we can just input caret supremacy here, and in the left panel under operations, search for XOR and drag into the middle under the recipe. So this tells CyberChef to apply the techniques to your input text. So let's search for XOR and let's put that here. And now we have to move to the fourth step. Each operation has settings you can adjust. In our case, we set the key to A. So we can just set the key to A. And to make sure that the drop down next to key is set to hex, yes, that is set to a hex. So the obfuscated result should automatically appear in the output section. If it doesn't, click bake at the bottom of the screen. We can see that it's already baked. We were enabled auto bake, right? Okay, so this is the obfuscated string of caret supremacy, right? With the key A in XOR, right? So yeah, as you can see about the caret string is becoming to this, right? As shown here, right? So detecting patterns. Like the good thing about well-known obfuscation techniques is that it's easy to reverse it once you figure out the technique used, right? So you can use these quick visual clues to guess the obfuscation technique used. So wrote one common words, look one letter off, spaces stay the same, each enough to detect. Wrote 13, look for 3-letter words, common one like the one, the becomes girl and becomes knack, spaces stay the same. So base 64 long strings contain mostly alphanumeric characters like these kinds of characters or equal to, often ending with equal to or double equal to, means that it's kind of base 64. And XOR is a bit more tricky, looks like random symbols, but stays at the same length as the original. If a short secret was reused, you may notice a tiny repeat every few characters. Once you have guessed on what cipher was used, you can go back to CyberChef, but this time use an operation that does not reverse effect. For example, to deobfuscate base 64, you can use the from base 64 instead of to base 64, right? Unfamiliar patterns, not sure what you're looking for, it's fine. Even if you don't have any idea of what cipher was used for obfuscation, it is enough to keep on trying different operations just to see if the text becomes readable. CyberChef also included an operation called magic that automatically guesses and tries common decoders for you. So to use it, just add the magic operation and look at the results. It will display multiple results and it's up to you to check which one ends up making sense. You can even check intensive mode to make sure it tests more possibilities before giving up. So yeah, there's a lot that you learned about CyberChef, right? So yeah, we can also use the magic operation. Like let me put that into key A. So this is what we get. I'm just giving that there, and let us use magic. Here it is. Nothing of interest could be detected. So intensive mode. Here you can see that in the intensive mode, you can see this seems to be an XOR, right? And the string is A, right? You were able to get a lot of information using the magic, right? So we were able to get the key also, right? So that's pretty great, right? Magic, right? So yeah, of course, this won't catch everything, especially custom XOR keys or unusual layers. Not everything will be catched, but most of them, like some of them, will definitely gonna catch by magic tool. So you use it as a hint to help you figuring it out. For example, one of the questions below cannot be fully solved with magic operation alone. Yeah, but magic operation is needed. So this is our question. Like this is about layered obfuscation. So to make deobfuscation harder, threat actors would often combine multiple techniques, almost like a layered approach. For example, a script that threat actors want hidden can be compressed with a gzip or XOR add with X key, then finally base 64 encoder. This will produce this obfuscated string. So this is a string that we have. I'm just copying that. To reverse these kinds of layered obfuscation, apply the operations in the opposite order, like base 64, XOR with X, then decompress, gzip. The screenshot below shows how to chain these operations to recover the original content. You can see the steps. Let's do the same, right? So yeah, I'm just using this, eliminating the useless things. And first I have to use the from base64 for decoding this from base64. Now it seems to be an XOR, so we can use XOR with the X key, and we have to use gunsib, so which you will be able to get from here, gunsib. Here it is. Now we were able to get the informations like list directory.ps1 is the ps1, let's say PowerShell script. So yeah, and some of the other informations will be available here, right? We were able to decode that obfuscation, right? So unwrapping the Easter egg. Luckily, MC's Kitty detected something fishy in the email we received. She extracted a PowerShell script from the PDF and put it on an isolated virtual machine to figure out what it's doing. There is some obfuscation in the script. Can you help her understand what it is? Open sandastealer.ps1 located on the virtual machine desktop in Visual Studio by double-clicking it. Takes a moment to open and navigate to start here section of the script. Follow the type instructions, something like that is written there. So what we can do here is to move to here, and we have the Sanda stealer. This is a PowerShell script, so we have to open this in Visual Studio. What we can do is right click and open in Visual Studio. So to get your first flag, basically you have to run the code. To open PowerShell, click Start or press the Windows key, type PowerShell, and in the PowerShell terminal, run the two commands shown in the scripts commands. There is a second challenge waiting for you. This time you must obfuscate the malicious actors API key using XOR. Follow the part 2 instructions in the codes command and then run the script and again to get the flag. So basically you have to get two flags. What is the first flag you gather after deobfuscating the C2 URL and running the script? So the variable name is a hint to the encoding used. This is what we were able to get. This seems to be base64, right? This is the C2 URL. Here you can see navigate to start here section of the script. So you have to move to the start here section of the script. We have the part 2 obfuscation, part 1 deobfuscation. Only edit. We have to follow the instruction deobfuscate the string present in this variable and place the URL in the C2 variable to then run the script to get the flag. So I'm just copying this and pasting it in the cyberchef, and I'm just using base64 only, and now I get the URL. So I'm just pasting the C2 URL here. So oops, I think I just done wrong. I have to copy the C2 URL. Now let me try to paste. So unfortunately I'm not able to paste. So maybe that was not working. So I have to use this Firefox inside the virtual machine that we are using. So let me try to open the CyberChef website inside this VM. Searching for CyberChef. Unfortunately, there will be no internet connection here. So I copied that. Here is it. But I am not able to copy that. So I think I have to enter that manually, like https:// c2.northpole.thm. c2.northpole.thm /exfil. Okay, so that's done. obfuscate the API key. So this is a part one, right? So we can just get our flag using the part one. So we have to run this, so which you will be able to run this by clicking here, I think. Running, run and debug, trust. You can see the output. Here is it, it's running, downloading payload. Things are happening. This is working, preparing payload, and it's done. Downloading, we get the payload, we get the flag, right? THMC2 obfuscation. So yeah, we get the first flag for C2 URL. That's it. So what is the second flag you get after obfuscating the API key and running the script again? So we have to obfuscate the API key. We can see this is the part 2 of obfuscation. Obfuscates the API key using XOR, single bit key 0 into 37 and convert. So let me expand this to full screen. So we have the API key available here. I'm just copying that and pasting. So I think I have to go here, pasting it here using the XOR. Our task is to obfuscate this API key using XOR single byte key 0x37. Key 0x37 and convert to hexadecimal. Then add the hex string. So converting to hexadecimal, to we have to search 2 hex. We just convert it to hexadecimal. Then add the hex string to this OBS. Yeah, you have to add the hex string here. Here is where you want to add the hex string. So I don't know if I am able to copy and paste that there. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do as before. So I think I have to enter that manually. Is there any thing that we have for copying? I don't know. So I'm just entering that manually. Like we can enter that. Like it's 747679. 747679. 747679. After that, 736E1A. 736E1A. 747679 again. 747679 again. And 727A 721A76. 721A76. 677E1A. 677E1A. 7C726E. 7C726E. Yeah, we were able to enter that hex. Now we can just run that again, clicking the run and debug. Now we can see it does work and we were able to get the flag 2 also. Here it is. Boom. It's done. So you have learned some little about obfuscation. If you want to learn more about obfuscation principles, then you can just check out this obfuscation principle rooms for learning more about it. It's a premium room. If you want, then you can just complete that by taking premium in TryHackMe. So yeah, that's pretty much about this, guys. You were able to understand obfuscation and how attackers obfuscate, and we just use some XOR and we also use some of the cyber of things, and we were able to understand a little about obfuscation and those things. Yeah, that's pretty much about it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.